Randy Orton's history with back issues is well documented, so anytime he grabs his back in a match, fans immediately worry it could be serious. That concern was front and center during a SmackDown match against Drew McIntyre in September 2025. During the match, McIntyre delivered a body slam that sent Orton's legs crashing against the ropes, and it was a spot that looked awkward and painful. Orton instantly broke character, selling nothing, and instead you could see frustration. Then, in a moment that had fans buzzing, Orton shouted, It was such a surreal moment because Orton rarely lets that kind of raw emotion slip out in front of the cameras, and the belief was that he might have landed wrong and may have tweaked something in his back. Thankfully, reports later confirmed that Orton was fine and had not re-injured himself, but for the fans watching live, it was a rare glimpse of Randy dropping the Viper persona and showing some real unfiltered frustration. At WrestleMania 26, Shawn Michaels faced The Undertaker in one of the most emotional matches of his career, his retirement match. During the bout, Michaels went for one of his signature high-risk moves, the moonsault off the top rope onto The Undertaker, who was laid on the announce table. It's a dangerous spot even for veterans like these two, and the landing looked brutal. But what fans didn't realize in the moment was that Shawn actually oversold the impact on purpose because he wanted to get closer to The Undertaker and quietly check if he was okay after the bump. During the first ever Women's Tag Team Championship match inside the Elimination Chamber, Sasha Banks and Bayley were right in the middle of a chaotic spot when things almost went very wrong. Peyton Royce went flying out the ring, crashing down onto both Sasha and Bayley. But as she landed, Sasha instantly realized that Peyton's boot was about to connect straight with Bayley's face. Without any hesitation, she threw her hand up in front of her face so she wouldn't get hit. It was such a quick and instinctive move that most fans probably missed it live, but it showed just how much awareness Sasha had in that moment. When LA Knight faced Logan Paul for the US title at SummerSlam, fans were expecting a flashy match, and that's exactly what they got. But beyond all the high spots, there were a few moments where Knight showed genuine concern for his opponents. The first came after Logan Paul hit an insane springboard moonsault off the top rope onto LA Knight. As soon as he landed, Knight could be seen leaning in and quietly asking if Logan was alright. Later in that same match, it happened again, this time after a top rope brainbuster, one of the most risky moves in wrestling. LA Knight immediately checked on him before continuing the match. LA Knight proved that he's not just a great talker, but he's a true professional in that ring. Back in 2001, Lita showed incredible awareness during a match that could have ended badly for her opponent, Jazz. In the spot, Jazz was supposed to dive through the ropes and land on a group of women outside the ring, but as she went for it, her legs got caught up in the ropes, and it was a dangerous situation that could have easily led to a serious injury. Lita broke character, and she quickly moved closer and caught Jazz mid-fall to break her momentum. On an episode of Raw in 2001, Triple H suffered one of the worst injuries in WWE history. He tore his quad during a tag team match. Despite the pain, the game refused to quit, but it was Chris Jericho who made sure the match did not fall apart. Right after the injury happened, Jericho broke character and went over to ask Triple H what he wanted to do. In true Triple H fashion, he insisted that they finish the match as planned, and from that point on, Jericho took the lead, helping guide him through every spot while protecting him as much as possible. The Undertaker's entrances have always been legendary, with the smoke and the lights and of course the pyro. But at the 2010 Elimination Chamber, that iconic entrance nearly turned into a disaster. As the dead man made his way out, the pyro malfunctioned and flames shot far too close, and The Undertaker ended up suffering first and second degree burns. His hat and coat were literally scorched, and he had to storm straight in the ring, completely breaking character just to get away from the fire. The burns were so painful that while he was still waiting in his pod, Undertaker had to constantly pour water over himself just to keep going. The craziest part is that reports later revealed that Undertaker had actually warned the pyrotechnician before, saying the flames were getting too close during his entrance, and the warnings were ignored, and it nearly caused a tragedy. Despite everything, The Undertaker gutted it out and still competed in the chamber match and was fine afterwards. It really goes to show just how dangerous even the smallest production mistake can be. Brock Lesnar is one of the last people you'd ever expect to break character, but at the Elimination Chamber in 2022, even the Beast incarnate had to step out of his role for a moment. During the match, Lesnar climbed to the top of the pods with Austin Theory, and what followed was one of the scariest spots in Chamber history. Brock delivered an F5 from the top, sending Theory crashing down. The landing didn't look good to Brock, and it wasn't clear how badly he was hurt, and for once you can see Brock actually concerned, and he told the referee to go check on Theory multiple times. Thankfully, Austin Theory was fine, and outside of some bumps and bruises, he did not miss any time on TV. But it was interesting to see the Beast break character to make sure that Austin Theory was alright. Chris Jericho has always been known as a ring general, and that reputation was on full display in a 2016 match with Neville on Raw. In the middle of the match, Neville suffered a freak accident. He fractured his ankle and could not even put any weight on it. Chris Jericho immediately realized that the match had to be stopped, but the challenge was figuring out how to end it without leaving Neville in a vulnerable spot. So Jericho improvised and he shoved the referee Charles Robinson, which got him disqualified. It was completely unscripted and totally out of character because Jericho was originally supposed to win. But in that moment, protecting Neville was far more important than the finish of the match. Later on in his podcast, Jericho explained his thought process, and this is what he said.
So I'm thinking, okay, obviously we have to end this match ASAP.
Right.
So I was thinking maybe I could do kind of, but I'm also trying to think, how can I get some heat out of it? So I was like, is he okay? Oh my goodness, is he okay? Is he okay? F this and roll him up.
Right.
Like, screw you, buddy.
Right.
So when I roll him up, thinking, well, Charles will know what's up. Let's just count to 3.
Yeah, that's good to us.
Yeah, 1, 2, and you stop. And then I'm like, what? I think if I push Charles and he DQs me really hard, then I can still keep this rolling. And plus, I was like, why the hell didn't he count to 3? I could do double whammy, right?
Right.
But then you really got mad at me after that.
I was really mad at you, and I knew you were mad at me because, Chris, I've seen your acting, and you're not that good.
This is just another example of Jericho's veteran instincts kicking in when it mattered most. When a wrestler suffers a serious injury, the match often goes out the window. Protecting the person in the ring becomes the only priority, and that's exactly what happened on Raw in 2002 during a chaotic 10-man tag team match. Kevin Nash had just tagged in and started doing some basic moves when the disaster struck. He went to charge at Bubba Ray Dudley on the apron, and in that moment, he completely tore his quad off the bone. It's one of the most dreaded injuries in wrestling. Fans have seen it derail so many careers, and Nash was instantly in no condition to continue. This is where Bubba Ray Dudley stepped up, and instead of sticking to the script or keeping kayfabe alive, he broke character right away. Bubba covered Nash in the corner, shielding him away from any more offense and making sure the injury did not get worse. It was a small gesture, but it said a lot. Bubba Ray's always been known for being intense and staying in character no matter what, but here he put that aside to protect his opponents. In 2007, John Cena was in the middle of one of the greatest runs of his career. As the WWE champion, he was putting on classics with names like Umaga and Shawn Michaels, but then everything changed on one episode of Raw. During a match with Mr. Kennedy, Cena went for something simple, a hip toss, but as soon as he landed, you could see it on his face, something had gone very wrong. John Cena actually ended up tearing his pec, and it was instantly clear that the match couldn't go on as planned. That's where Mr. Kennedy deserves a ton of credit. After a brief pause, probably just from realizing how serious the situation was, Kennedy broke character and quickly shifted gears. He locked Cena into a rest hold, giving them and the referee a chance to regroup and figure out what to do next. It was a subtle move that showed Kennedy's professionalism. Instead of panicking or pushing forward, he did the right thing and protected John Cena in that moment. Head injuries are taken extremely seriously in WWE, but the company came under heavy criticism for how they handled Kairi Sane's concussion at the TLC pay-per-view in 2019. The main event that night was a dangerous TLC match. It was Becky Lynch and Charlotte versus Asuka and Kairi Sane. Somewhere in the chaos, Kairi suffered a serious concussion and she was visibly out of it, and in a match as risky as TLC, that's a nightmare scenario. This is where Becky Lynch stepped up. She forgot about kayfabe and her character, and she made it her mission to protect Kairi. She quickly rolled Sane under the ring, shielding her from any more punishment, and from that point on, the match had to be adjusted on the fly. Several planned spots were scrapped or changed in order to keep Kairi out of danger. The truth is that WWE should have pulled her out of the match immediately, but credit to Becky, she was a total pro, putting safety above everything else. At Over the Limit 2010, Edge and Randy Orton were set to tear the house down in one of the card's biggest matches, but things went sideways almost immediately. During the match, Orton hit his signature taunt, but in the process, he dislocated his shoulder. You could see him break character instantly, clearly unsure of what to do next. Orton wasn't in any shape to continue, and that left Edge in a tough spot. To his credit, he handled it like a pro. He stayed composed and covered the situation as best that he could, and you could tell he was quietly communicating with Orton to figure out a way to wrap things up. It wasn't the match fans were expecting, but Edge's ability to adapt on the fly kept the situation from getting worse. At SummerSlam in 1999, Triple H found himself in a strange spot during the main event match against Stone Cold Steve Austin and Mankind. In the middle of the action, Austin got caught in the ropes, and not in the safe, controlled way. He was genuinely stuck. Triple H could have played it off and kept things going, but the longer Austin stayed tangled up, the more dangerous it became. The ropes were cutting into him, and the circulation could have easily been affected. That is when Triple H made the call to break character completely and help free Austin. The moment looked awkward for a second, but once Austin was out, he was able to shake it off and keep wrestling. Later on, it was said that the two actually found humor in the situation. What could have been a scary accident turned into a quick break from kayfabe thanks to Triple H stepping in. Survivor Series 2016 gave us one of the best traditional Survivor Series matches of all time. Raw vs. SmackDown went all out, but the match also had a scary moment that we won't forget. Shane McMahon tried his famous coast to coast only to get absolutely destroyed in mid-air by Roman Reigns. The landing wasn't pretty, and Shane was knocked loopy and looked completely out of it. And sitting in the front row that night was Shane's kids, who had to watch it all go down live. Naturally, they were terrified for his dad, and that is when Randy did something nobody expected. In the middle of the chaos, instead of sticking to the script, he slid out of the ring, walked to Shane's son, and reassured him that everything was gonna be okay. It was such a genuine human moment. Orton completely broke character just to comfort a kid who was watching his father get hurt, and fans praised him endlessly for it, and thankfully Shane was later cleared and turned out to be fine, but that snapshot of Orton showing compassion is one that fans will never forget. Anyways, that is it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and here are some other videos you might enjoy.